give the floor to Foy Shiver, who is going to tell us about the state of scams, the state of phishing. Foy, may I give you the floor?
Sure, George. Thank you very much. Let me get my up here. Didn't prepare any slides. Just going to go briefly. Like I mentioned in the introduction, phishing has been pretty steady. Gradually increasing over the years. We saw in July, I think it was July of this year, some of the highest numbers we've ever seen going through. Generally speaking, phishing is the primary entrance for most of the crimes we see taking place out there. BEC is blossoming, making lots of money for the criminals. Ransomware continues to grow, even though we see some advancement going. It's really continues to increase, and the criminals are making a lot of money. I don't want to go over, as I mentioned in the introduction, APWG does a lot of work in this area, both primarily in the research side, working with universities globally as well, working on the sharing of the data itself, the threat data between our phishing feed. We also share information around cryptocurrency addresses that are being used in criminal activity. We share malicious domains, IP addresses that are up to nastiness out there. And then the report phishing, the actual phishing emails themselves, our researchers use those a lot as they're trying out new algorithms and new applications, working to advance user awareness as well. I didn't want to take up too much of our time just talking about what we do, because what we do is what we're doing here today with GOS. Organize events, get like minds together to focus on these issues and try to come up with some solutions. Tomorrow eve, our last panel, we're going to talk about, how do we win this war? My argument is I don't think we're ever going to win it. Criminals are always going to be one step ahead because they don't have to play by the rules. And there's always going to be a lot of people out there that would rather steal than have a legitimate job. It's always amazed me over the 20 plus years I've been in this industry that how smart so many of these people are, and they focus their time on stealing from others. So as an organization, APWG has been working to affect policies globally. We work a lot with our community as recommendations and advisors to ICANN on how maybe we can address some of the issues that are out there, along with domain registrations and malicious sites and tracking these and trying to get registries and registrars and law enforcement all to work together so that we can as quickly as possible take some of these site downs and block them through sharing of information to protect end users. Don't want to take much more time than that. Thank you very much for attending. We're excited for the presentations that are going to take place over the next 2 days. And hopefully we can get some good conversations and then continue to advance all of our global efforts to fight cybercrime. Thanks, George.
Thank you very much, Foy. I see a few questions in the chat. Foy, maybe you can answer the question from Rhoda, and I'm going to pronounce the surname incorrectly. My apologies, Dukomun. What Rhoda is saying is, the thing is, if you report a scam to a bank, UK fraud task force, they cannot do anything because the transaction was made outside of the UK. If you then contact the bank overseas, they ignore you. So how can we deal with these global scams as all these agencies and banks do not seem to act? Would you like to reply to that one?
Sure. The first thing we do is exactly what the groups like we're doing here with ScamAdviser, Global Cyber Alliance, APWG working together, is by sharing this information as we find it, we can try to protect the end users from being scammed in the first place. That's the one area we really have to focus on, because unfortunately, as you've seen, when you're looking at a global environment here, different laws in effect, different jurisdictions, actually prosecution is very difficult. Finding, we know, is very difficult. We have to work and share information together. The initiatives we're working with right here, the GCA, trying to identify these sites and get them taken down, get them blocked, so the end users can't get to them. That's the best we can really hope for in the short term. Once we get to a better state where we're tracking more of this information, hopefully then we can go back and actually prosecute some of these criminals. But unfortunately, prosecution takes time. Finding the criminals takes time. So our groups here, we can work together to try to protect as many users as possible, gather that information and make it available to our investigators and law enforcement and governments, and so that some of them can get prosecuted and executed. Well, not executed, sorry, I'm in South Georgia, yes.
Right. Thank you, Foy. I see another question from a person named E952872, which is also a good moment to please, if you are able to, and you're listed as a number or as anonymous, please use your real name. You can change it in your Zoom account. It makes it easier. But E952872, I want to repeat your question. Considering the graph that was presented a few minutes ago, what do countries like Sweden, Belgium, and Japan do to get their scam experience down? What we found in our research is that they have been communicating about cybercrime and scams for a very long time. So in Belgium, for example, I know that for the last 8 or 9 years, they have had nationwide campaigns to inform the public about scams, and it works to some degree. And now you see that these countries who have built up a lot of cybercrime awareness are seeing that, a lot of consumers do not fall for the obvious scams anymore. They need more tools. So, for example, Belgium, as I said before, they launched their email address where you can report phishing emails. And that gives a tremendous amount of nearly real-time data. So all the phishing emails which are coming in at the Belgian Cybersecurity Center are real-time analyzed, and within a few seconds, the links which are in these phishing emails are sent to internet service providers in Belgium to actually block these phishing emails from accessing more Belgians. And what we are currently discussing is if we can, of course, share this data more globally. That's at least my hope. Same in Japan. A lot of attention has been given to awareness, and now they're launching they're launching tools to not only make consumers aware, but also give them tools to actually check links, check emails. Tomorrow we will have a presentation from the Japanese Cybersecurity Center on how they're trying to fight phishing. Let me see if we have other questions coming in. No, not at the moment. There's a question, Phil Roberts. I would like to let you answer. One of the questions is, where's the money going if scammers are actually being apprehended? And can you maybe tell a little bit about how the Global Cyber Alliance came into existence? Would you be able to do that?
Sure, I can say a little bit about that, but we were funded in part through settlement of case like this, and the state organization that won that used part of the proceeds to fund the Global Cyber Alliance. We were founded by the state of New York, the City of London Police, and a third organization. But some of that was used to fund what we do. So yeah, that doesn't answer the question for how money recovered funds are used all the time, but it does in part.
But I mean, actually, because what I understood, Phil, and correct me if I'm wrong, is you were funded amongst others by the police force of London, and they were able to give you some funds to kick off because they had apprehended cyber criminals, but were unable to return the money to the scam victims because they were unable to identify who it was. And therefore they put it into your organization to fight cyber criminals. Is that correct?
I think that's correct. I'm new to the organization. I'm a little shady on how we got started, but yes, that is.
I can, if you want, I can step
good.
in because I'm an old cow in the organization. My name is Alejandro Fernandez Cernuda. I'm helping also with the GOS event. Yeah, it wasn't the City of London Police. The founding members was the General Prosecutor's Office of Manhattan. That's where we got the initial funding, but it came from some incidents, and it was used to fund our organization that would be ready to fight against systemic cyber risk, but from a very active perspective. This is why we create tools, we develop things that are free for the end users always. Yeah. So so yes, there was initial money coming from crime that was used to fund us. So I hope all that could happen all the time, but it's always difficult. Also, the City of London is our second City of London Police, and it's the second founding member because they focus on e-crime and online scams and all of that. That's their mandate. And the third founding member is the CIS, Center for Internet Security in the United States. So
Thank you very much, Alejandro. Thank you for also Alejandro and also Soriana and James and Nick. They're all helping us with the Global Online Scam Summit. And Alejandro is responsible for marketing, I believe, at the Global Cyber Alliance. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, marketing and also engagement in one of the two programs of the Global Cyber Alliance, the Internet Integrity Program. Together with Phil, we work together that program.
Thank you very much, Alejandro.